Hey guys, crew of Blonde Wave, I'm Eric.
I'm Shane.
Shane, it's time for our Q&A for The Walking Dead. This is the first one of the season.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like The Walking Dead came pretty strong with the whole moving the herd and stuff like that.
That was a big episode.
And you guys definitely came out to see our reaction and to put down comments down in the comments below. So we're going to go through a little bit of those. Shane, what's the first one?
All right, Thomas McMaster 48.
Okay.
His question was, do you think that Ron set off the horn so he can try to get Rick killed for what he did to his dad?
Okay, Ron is the kid, right? The angsty kid that we met.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Do we think that he set off the horn?
I never thought about that. That's a good point. I mean, I thought they were introducing him to set up a storyline, some kind of relationship between them, because obviously that's important.
I would have to. I mean, Ron has a mother and a brother there. I don't think that he would put them in danger just to get back at fucking Rick, right? I mean, he's a kid.
You wouldn't think he'd do that.
Stupid,
he's not like 10. He's like a teenager.
He looks like he's like 16, 17.
He'd have to be a fucking idiot.
I don't personally believe in that theory. I don't think that Ron would do it, but I could see it happening.
I could see it happening. It wouldn't surprise me.
I think it's more likely that it's the guys that are carving W's in zombies' heads or their own heads.
Yeah, because they've been setting them up for a while.
Yeah, I think it's way more likely that it's them and they're doing this calculating, trying to get the zombies overrun. That way they can go in and pick everything out.
That really pissed me off.
Yeah. What's next?
Joseph the Mighty says, do you think the whole Morgan stick thing is a bit lame? It has a whiff of a kung fu movie to me. It just feels a bit too cheesy for a show like this.
No, I just don't think it's performed as well as it could be.
I know what he's saying. I don't think it's cheesy. But
I don't think it's cheesy. I mean, Michonne's been carrying a samurai sword for two seasons now.
Yeah, but like, it took me a minute to warm up to Michonne.
Really?
It kind of did. I didn't read the comics, so he read the comics. I didn't.
Yeah.
So like, in a real world, I don't know. I mean,
in a real world, a melee weapon is going to be the best thing you can have. It never runs out of ammunition.
When he was fighting the wolf guys, I thought it was good.
Yeah.
But when I see him just throwing this shit by himself, I'm thinking, well, he ain't that
The
good.
little thing where he was like doing fucking katas and shit inside, that wasn't very good. But whenever he was fighting zombies, I felt like it was done pretty well.
Yeah, I thought it was alright.
Personally, I feel like his bow is a little too thin.
Yeah.
Those things are really light. They're easy to spin and make it look cool, but they're not going to hurt anybody really, really bad with such a thin thing. I mean, you could grab it, twist it into your arm, and break it pretty easy if it's that thin,
Yeah, I agree. Like, the kata thing I thought was a little cheesy.
Yeah, but, I mean, I enjoy the direction the character is going. They're using that staff and the way he is now to focus him from his madness we saw him in last time we saw him, you know, and making him much more focused, and that, martial arts and training and stuff like that, that's just like an outward expression of his focus.
He was an extra for Donatello, wasn't he?
Huh?
I think that actor was an extra, or was like a stunt double for Donatello in the movies.
Really?
That's why, yeah. I heard that somewhere. If I'm wrong, let me know, but I'm pretty sure. I read that somewhere.
Holy shit, that would be crazy.
Yeah, because he, like...
That takes his staff to a whole nother level.
Yeah.
I regret what I've said. Fact check that for us. If Shane's wrong, he just gets a big old slap in the face.
Okay. Jordan Brailsford, do you think Carol will show her true self and her badassness in the next episode?
Carol? I gotta say, I really love the dynamic of her being like the wolf in the sheep's clothing. Mm-hmm. I like that a lot. I love that Morgan saw right through it.
Yep.
That was really
cool.
That
was a cool moment.
But will she give it up? I mean, I think it's for right now, while Rick is not completely in charge, and Diane, whoever the woman is that is in charge, as long as that dynamic is there, they need to have a spy Carol.
Yeah.
Once Rick, if he takes over, I think that she won't be needed in that capacity anymore.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think you're right. I guess if there was a time for her, like, because I'm not sure, like, if the zombies make it and breach the gates. If they do, I can imagine this would be the moment that Carol would step up and be a badass for saving people.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to... They already set that thing up. I don't know if they're going to knock it down this early in the season. You know what I mean?
I don't think so. I think we have some questions talking about that later.
Carlo B., do you think that later down the road, perhaps in Season 7, that Alexandria will get destroyed like the prison, and Rick and his group will be on the road again? And do you think that Alexandria will be a permanent location safe zone home for Rick and his people?
Okay, so the longevity of Alexandria.
Yeah.
The town they're in, right?
Farther down the road, like Season 7.
Yeah, well, what do you think?
The model for this show is a group of survivors surviving, going from one place to another, and it seems like no place has been able to survive forever. but each time they get to a place, it gets better and better.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure. I still think the prison would probably have been the best place overall.
Is it though? I mean, it's definitely not the most comfortable. It might be the most secure, but I mean, they do have the prison didn't have the best wall. It had a fucking chain link fence.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Whereas this thing has an actual wall that was built out of an old Walmart or something, right?
Oh, I don't know that.
Well, didn't they say that there's like a Walmart being built like a couple miles away, and that's where they got all the materials and stuff like that? I think they said that last season.
Okay.
But this is the thing. Alexandria has solar panels. It has clean water wells. You know, it was designed for something kind of like this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The prison doesn't have that kind of stuff. If anything, I would just fortify Alexandria way more than I would the prison. Plus, it has residential houses rather than fucking cells. You know?
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I'm not sure if I care about comfort or security more.
Yeah, but like I said, I think when it comes to security, amenity, and basic utility, you know, Alexandria still wins. But I will say that when it comes to the tone of the show, like you were saying, where Survivor's going, I think that we're going to see a shift from nomadic survivors to sporadic communities.
Yeah.
Communities at war with each other. And then eventually, you know, commerce and the rebuild of civilization, I think, is what we're kind of going with here, you know?
Didn't you say, isn't it kind of established a little bit of comics?
A little bit. I mean, I don't want to go too much into what the comics are because, as we all know, the guys of us who have read the comics, they go completely different directions sometimes.
Yeah.
Andrea died 2 seasons ago, and in the comic, she's well and alive and with Rick. They completely change a lot of things, which I like. I actually enjoy. It keeps me on my toes, especially.
Yeah.
But if they're going to keep with the main flow, I think going from survivors just barely getting by to communities learning how the new world needs to be set up for the next how many years it's going to take for all the zombies to eventually just rot away, I guess. I don't know. If that even happens.
Yeah, one thing that's cool is when you see, like, because this town is basically untouched.
Yeah.
Okay? They haven't exposed the outside world that much. When you see Rick and his survivors get there.
Yeah.
It reminds me of in Lost, when the season premiere of Lost, when they're in that town.
Yeah, when we meet the others.
Yeah. And they're just normal freaking people.
And you think, like, okay, where are we? In America or something like that. And then you look up and there's the plane.
Yeah.
And they're in the fucking island.
So, like, it's like one of those things where, like, I kind of wish, and it's already kind of this kind of did that for me.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing Rick just transported to a part of the world where they never heard of the zombie outbreak.
Mm-hmm.
And he's, like, all freaking grizzled, and he's got his beard.
And his bandages and shit.
Yeah. It's cool to see how much he's changed in season 1.
Very much so, yeah.
I imagine the show would have to end, obviously. And it can't go on like the comics, a zombie show that goes on forever and ever and ever.
We'll see. I mean, it could just end with everybody's dead and the zombies just keep going.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be terrible, but I don't see an actual resolution to what's happening. I think this is just how the world is, and let's tell stories about it.
Yeah. Ahmad Gazwan, composer.
Mm-hmm.
Hope I didn't butcher that.
Well, he comments a lot on our channel.
Okay, my bad, man. Thanks for watching. I never read the comic, but I've heard of Heath. Does he have a bigger role in the future? I really liked him.
Okay, so Heath is the guy with the dreadlocks, right? The guy that had that awesome scene with Eugene.
Yeah.
Right? He's like, man, you don't let me in, I'm gonna kick your ass.
Was it party in the front? I mean, like business in the front, party in the back.
Yeah. Yeah. So Heath is like the Alexandria version of Glenn, as in he's like the runner. He's really good at going and looking for supplies, and he's very good at knowing where they've been, where they need to go, and that kind of stuff, right? So he's a really fun character in the comics, and I was kind of disappointed he wasn't in Alexandria last year, but they just went ahead and said, he's been gone for a little bit. He's back now.
Yeah, so, I guess they weren't there that long.
I love when they do that. I love when they can bring classic comic characters into the show, and usually when they do that, with Tyrese, with Michonne, they give they're not exactly the same as they are in the comics. No one really is. Mm-hmm. Heath seems to kind of be like that so far. So I'm interested to see more of his character.
Yeah. De facto Overlord says, do you guys think they're going to introduce Negan in his group this season? I think they should, because walkers are not enough of a threat, and people will soon grow tired of infighting that's happening in the group. Okay, so
it's Negan is who he's talking about. It's like in the comic, there's always the next threat. There's always the next Dragon Ball Z villain, that's more powerful than the last,
Mm-hmm.
So Negan is kind of the next governor in that sense.
Okay.
Do I think they'll introduce him in season 6? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to be doing. We have this whole wolves thing right now. I don't think that's connected at all to Negan. They might not even do Negan at all. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about Negan is that he is the most brutal character that we've ever seen in The Walking Dead. We've seen a lot of brutal characters.
Oh, wow.
You know, so it's definitely that antagonistic human force that can be frustrating at times, but is very real in The Walking Dead's world. It could be something they can introduce, like, you know, midway through the season, like they've been doing. You know, they have something big happen at the break, and then we don't get the show for like 5 weeks.
Yeah.
And then it comes back, you know?
Yeah.
So we'll see. That'd be interesting.
Okay. Josh Blanksby. Do you guys think there's a chance that Rick could ever die? I think it could bring a huge emotional punch to the show, even more so than it's ever had. But at the same time, he's awesome, so it's tough. Keep up the good work.
What do you think?
That would be a mind.
I mean, look, this is the thing. Generally, the guy on the poster in a franchise lives, right? Except for shows like Game of Thrones. Some guys in the posters die in HBO. Now, this is AMC, but AMC also doesn't really pull the punches, really. It could definitely mix things up like crazy, but I don't see them ever doing it. I think he just pulls too much in.
Yeah, I think the show's too much about him. I mean, because they got to think about their viewers. Like, it's crazy when something like that in a show happens, like Game of Thrones, but it was already written and they had a story, and you know what I mean? There's so many other characters.
And, I mean, every character in our core group, I mean, they're only together because they follow Rick, really.
Yeah.
I mean, they're tied to Rick.
Yeah. If
he wasn't there, then I don't know if they would be as tight as they are.
Yeah.
And, I mean, what the hell happened to Carl?
My thing is, that's I was just thinking about this earlier. I was thinking about contracts, obviously, and they got to keep negotiating these guys' actors' contracts.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, like, if that's how it would happen, obviously. Mm-hmm. But I think Carl being the youngest in the show.
Yeah.
I can imagine. I don't know. I was wondering if he could ever die.
Yeah.
I could see him going before Rick.
We'll see. I mean, we also have Judith too, the daughter that we see every once in a while.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know. I want to say that The Walking Dead is fair game for anybody. Rick might have the most plot armor of anybody.
Of course.
Maybe Carl the second. I would say Daryl the third because he's such a fan favorite, but
that's a
unfortunately he's expendable. I think
he is a fan favorite though. Yeah, you know what I mean, like,
I mean,
think they care about
there's
that.
Memes all over the place saying that if Daryl dies, we riot. I always see him go up on Facebook like an hour before the show goes up. Anyway, will Rick die? I don't think so, but if it did, I'd still, I don't know. I don't want it to happen.
I don't want it to happen either.
Yeah, what we got next?
If I mispronounce it, sorry, Cuxon or Quuxon fan. Who do you think will die next? Or who do you want to die next?
Ooh, who do you think will die next, and then who do you want to die next? Who do I think will die next? I think there's a possibility of that chick that Rick is hanging out with, or trying to hang out with, might be gone.
A chick he's trying to hit up?
Yeah. One trying to honey trap him?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that she seems to be in danger to me, just because she's been, I don't know. Because if she does die, he's going to, and if it happens, story-wise, it happens like she's just sad or shit, some kind of shit, he's going to blame himself. I don't know if she'll die next, but I see her being dead by the end of the season. Personally.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
Next, I mean, I don't know.
Maybe he'll shack up with her.
We'll see, I guess. And then she dies like an hour later. Because, this is just the form of the show. Rick can't be truly happy.
Yeah.
That's just how it's going to be. Who do you think will die next?
He's introducing a lot of small-time characters now, like the guy who tried to kill Glenn.
Yeah.
I guess I imagine more of those guys, like 5 or 6 of those guys dying before I imagine a big one dying. Hell, I don't know.
I mean,
who do you want to die? I don't know. I can't.
Who do I want to die?
I never want anyone usually to get ripped apart by zombies.
This is kind of mean, but I wouldn't mind Sasha going.
It's a little annoying me.
And she's
like
fucking
sniping shit with her big ass eyes.
And she's acting like she's the only one that's fucking lost something, and everybody else is an asshole for trying to talk to her about it.
Yeah.
Like, I annoyed me last season. Like, we're all in this together, man. We've all lost shit. Why did it make you? Because you lost fucking Bob?
Yeah.
The guy you just met a week ago walking on the fucking train tracks?
Fucking
and you're
Bob.
sad?
Crazy Bob.
I don't know. I'm enjoying her the least right now. I think the actress does a great job. I think she's a pretty girl. But I don't like the character that much. So if someone's got to die, I want her dead.
Okay.
You think of anybody?
I mean, I couldn't really think of anyone until you brought her up,
Yeah.
and I realized I don't really like her. I haven't really liked her lately.
Yeah. Another character that is the Diane, or the lady that's in charge of Alexandria. If she did die, that leaves a power vacuum that Rick, I think, will just eat right up.
Yeah.
And that would be fun, too, because then you can really start getting this shit done, you know?
Yeah.
Because right now she's in grief with her husband, and she's, kind of just following Rick's lead already. But if she was gone, I think that would really change things up.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, that's all the questions we have for this week.
Okay.
We didn't have a lot, but that's just because this is the first part of the show, and we've never done a Q&A for it yet. So make sure when you guys are watching our reaction, which will be up as early as it can be tomorrow morning, today being Sunday, make sure you guys are putting in that reaction your questions, your comments, your theories. Mark them with Q&A so that you can be featured on next week's Q&A show. And make your questions as interesting and as funny as you can. They're more likely to be read that way, but they're much more likely to be read if you are a subscriber. So hit that subscribe button, hit that like button.
Yes.
I'm Eric.
I'm Shane.
And we'll see you guys later.